Mic checking, mic checking.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Let's knock this out. Welcome to the Blue Reach
these
Podcast,
knots.
episode number 304. I'm Adrian. That's David. No Kells. Kells is watching Superman.
We rocking it old style.
Right? We haven't done this in a while. Because I think even the last 2-person one was just me and him. So it's been a minute.
Wow.
Our video game podcast, we go live on Tuesdays at youtube.com/appbluerupees, and we talk about video games and other stuff, just like whatever we want to, because that's how it goes. David, how's your week been?
Yo. It has been tiring. Basically, I had some time off, and every single day, unfortunately, had some kind of plan with someone. So not a lot of relaxing, but a lot of time of spending time with people. So I mean, at least I got to keep up with the homies. I don't consistently get to see.
Nice. What's the hangout usually?
Basically just movies, playing video games, those kinds of things.
Fair enough. Any good movies?
Watched RRR. Are you familiar with that one?
Not.
It's a Bollywood film. It is a revenge film, but it's the most tonally incorrect revenge film I've ever seen. It's fucking absurd, and I love it. It's a long set. It's like 3 hours long. But it is simultaneously both a insanely brutal and gripping revenge film, but also batshit insane film with like random dance breaks and musical numbers.
I need to insane reminds me. Psycho has been popping up on my list again. I only watched half an hour of it. I need to rewatch it though. Might have to do that soon. But yeah, solid, good recommendation then.
Absolutely.
Okay. On the movie front, I've watched a handful of movies. I watched Y Tu Mama También. That was solid. Coming of age story. Stuck with me for a while. That's like one of my that's probably be one of my favorites. Like that, I'm gonna see that one. It kind of climbed to my psyche that night, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be one of those movies that I'm gonna just have to steadily climb into the top of my top 10 eventually. Very, very fantastic. Well shot. It's just a really good coming of age story. Let's see. There are leaderboards on YouTube. Yeah, there were last week. There were leaderboards last week. It was interesting. Watched Beau is Afraid. It was wild, as Ari Aster usually is. Usually kind of insane, and that's kind of where it landed on that. So did that. Did I go to the movie theater at all? I don't think I did for anything else now.
When is Fantastic Four again? Is that next week or the week after?
I want to say it's the week. I want to say it's the week afterwards. I don't think they gave Superman just 1 week. I think they gave Superman 2 weeks to breathe, and then that sounds right to me, at least. But I'm not sure. I want to say in 2 weeks. That'd be insane if it was just 1 week for Superman to breathe.
Yeah, no, you got to give a bit more of a lead up than that.
The release date is
24th.
Yeah, so they're giving Superman 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm kind of in that weird movie mode. But then again, like I'm like winding down on time, right? I got about 3 weeks left, so I'm like, do I just like binge something? Because I really like Twin Peaks looking me in the face with that stuff. So I'm like, maybe I just binge that and get that out of the way, because it's gonna be hard this next school year. This next upcoming one's gonna be really busy. But we'll see. What'd you get this week?
Nothing. I'm poor.
Oh,
I forgot on a budget now.
I forgot to show off a couple games I got last week. I got these two. I got Gotham Knights for like $2 at GameStop, and Avatar's been like $10, so I grabbed those.
For $2 Gotham Knights, I'd buy that too.
Yeah, it was. I had to get rid of my $5 GameStop one and they had that there. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Got this plush in the mail. Got a nice Reptar.
Oh yeah.
Got a shout out to Reptar. Um, yeah, I think I didn't really get anything. Steam sales up. I'm contemplating it. Actually, my car died on the way when I was driving up north. It died. Uh, luckily after a tow and the repairs, about 350. It could have
It's not
been
terrible.
a lot worse. So I'm counting my graces on that, but also like it still sucks taking that out of nowhere. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
What'd you play then? You been playing anything this week?
More Pokemon. That's kind of been the big thing.
Okay.
Been starting to practice a little bit for competitive. That's really about it.
Okay. I've been doing Smash a lot. I'm like on that grind right now. Like I really, if it wasn't for this podcast, I would have sat there in front of the TV for the next 3 hours because I'm eager to. I'm super eager to get back to it. I lost that right now, and I know I kind of autopiloted. I was like, yeah, I should not have lost that, but that's what you get because
I
everyone
mean,
on there is like
you-
grind. Go ahead.
I was about to say you'll be able to get back to it. We only really have like 3 news stories this week.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of news stories randomly, but I feel a speed run coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, people on there take that game seriously, so I'm like having to like stay awake on it, but it is what it is. It's a fake rank, so I'm not getting salty about it. But I'm like, damn it, I need to start waking up a little bit. Can't let a K roll beat me. Uh, but yeah, I've been doing that. Age of Calamity, I'm about done with. I finished the main story. I'm just cleaning up like an extra 1 or 2 missions, so I'm done with the DLC, and I think I'm gonna drop it. There's a side mission you can get to get the little playable robot guy. I don't feel like grinding to get that. I think I'm about wrapped up. Um, so I'm probably gonna put it away after I finish that 1 or 2 missions and call it good.
All right. And then how much longer until you finally play Strikers?
That's what I'm saying. So I've actually just made a recent rotation you'll actually think is interesting. So right, this year like like I think I finished Yakuza 0 like in April I think or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Then Breath of the Wild this last month. Age of Calamity is done. I started up Death Stranding, but I'm getting sidetracked on it again. So I'm like, maybe I don't get too deep into it before I get too sidetracked because I booted up Yakuza Kiwami 1. I think
Mm.
I'm a little bit distant away. So that I'm like, all right, cool. Let's start getting back on that. And I think it's starting to click back into me. I think that's what to do with this next couple of weeks because I really, like I said, next school year is gonna be busy. I do not have that much time, so I'm like, all right, I should knock out some big boy ones, right? So Yakuza being one of them. I'm like, maybe I knock out Breath of the Wild too, because like now that I have the muscle memory, it makes sequels a little bit easier on that end.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna have to like relearn everything. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
especially for Kiwami 1 and 2. They're literally the same as 0.
which I appreciate. That I mean, I guess I don't know, right? I guess it Kiwami 1 makes it does what I appreciate in a lot of games where I hate when games starting to make you feel like you're power. It's like this. It's Metroid, right? Where I hate when they just like take
Yeah.
away everything and they're like, do it again now. I'm like, yeah, but I just in the last game I was all beefed up. Now you're making me like, I feel like weird about that sometimes. And
At least it makes sense for Yakuza 1. 'Cause
well, no,
you
it
said you
doesn't
started out-
though.
Did you watch at least?
No, what I'm
It
saying,
does. Did you watch the intro cutscene at least?
no, I did. But I'm saying is that
Yeah.
it expects me to know kind of all the fighting styles from Yakuza 0 going into Kiwami 1. Like I kind of like it's like here's this. It'll give me like a quick sentence about it, which is fine. But
Yeah.
I know everything, right? Like I put 100 hours into 0, but it let me kind of just if you know it, you know it. I feel like it felt like it gave me a lot of which because Kiwami came out before 0, correct?
No, all the Kiwamis were built off the 0 engine.
Okay, so that makes sense because it felt like it understood. It's like we think you're coming from 0, so if you're coming from 0, just play the game. And I felt
Yeah.
I'm happy about that, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So
That's another reason I say to play them like a trilogy.
right. So same thing with and I'm saying that because I know Tears of the Kingdom, if I recall correctly, doesn't just like take everything away from you and pretend you are like back to 3 hearts, right? Like it made sense to Breath of the Wild, but if I recall correctly, I could be wrong. It kind of gives you some credence of like, oh, you kind of know what you're doing, so we'll let you do what you need to do.
Interesting.
On top of like, I mean, you do have to do all you learn a bunch of the mechanics about the game, but the basics, it kind of just trusts you to go about it. So what I'm thinking of is I started knocking out Yakuza. I balanced Yakuza Kiwami out for a little bit, finish up Age of Calamity probably tonight. And then I'm like, do I just jump into Hyrule or not Hyrule Warriors? Do I just jump into uh Tears of the Kingdom and then let that play out, and then once I'm done with that, I gotta step away from Muso games, right? I'm like, all right, I put 60 hours into Age or Hyrule Warriors, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So maybe I space it out a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, maybe I jump into Strikers, so that way, I'm giving myself not that burnout where you're going back to back, but you're like
Yeah.
giving myself a game break, a pretty lengthy game break. Me, Tears of the Kingdom, and then once I wipe out one of those, or probably Tears, right? Probably go through Strikers, and I imagine I'll probably play Strikers on Switch now because I'm sure that plays really well on there now.
I don't know if that was one of the ones that had an uncapped
It probably
frame
didn't have
rate.
uncapped, but I mean, I'm playing. I Hyrule or Age of the Calamity is locked at 30. I've been fine with it. I'm fairly confident it's not, but I think that's my rotation between everything else I'm trying to knock
Uh,
out.
Much steady frame rate, but it is locked to the. It's one of the games that has a weird issue where the visuals are locked to the handheld resolution of the Switch One.
Okay, maybe then we'll see.
So everyone says it's an insanely smooth frame rate, but it plays at the resolution of if it was a handheld Switch One.
Okay, interesting. Maybe not. Then we'll see. I mean, I can also, if it's on PlayStation, I can just balance it out with all three of the games, I guess. But
I'd recommend just in general the PlayStation, but
yeah, I
you
mean,
gotta play it
I've
in bed,
enjoyed
I
it on
understand.
there, but the visuals, because I mean, the 30 frames rate, I say it, I know being a stickler for 60, but since I got through the whole game with 30, that's not the biggest deal. I could do it again, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not there yet, but it'll probably happen this summer. I think knock it out. That'd be a good solid chunk of summer games, right? Two Musos and a Yakuza. I think that's a healthy set of knockout on the backlog.
Not a bad way to go about it.
Let's see. Anything else on there? And I don't think so. Yeah, we're gonna speedrun this episode probably.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, we do have a lot of stuff that you are gonna get upset about, right? Because if we probably should have pushed out. We should have had that Spidey Sense going on because a lot of shit happened last Wednesday.
Yeah, so let's dive into that. There's one news story we'll save for last because that was the one I imagine you're gonna have the meatiest bit of conversation about.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start off with good old chappies at Microsoft.
Oh,
Laying off
that's
some
what we were gonna
fucking
talk about.
layoffs. No, I
So
was saving the stuff we talked about this morning for last.
before we do that, then I was gonna tell you this. Do you know about Creators Clash? Or Creator Clash is the one where
Yes.
yeah. Did you see that
Yeah,
Nathan
the
Barnett?
boxing tournament.
Yeah, Nathan Barnett had a whole video that came out yesterday.
No.
So Creator Clash, if you're not aware, is that YouTube boxer thing. Um, one did solid, two didn't do so great, and three wasn't shaping up to be good, and then it got nuked by a bunch of YouTube drama. But good old dad out there made a video, kind of talking about his side, and yeah, it's pretty shitty. Like it's 20-minute video, and you'll kind of hear about that, and like they gave what was it? A couple of the things that stuck out to me was like he got 20,000 for the first one plus a bonus. Now he's living in LA, so he got for two. I think he got 20,000, no bonus this time. But living in LA, he wanted to work with his trainer that he had lived out in like I want to say either Seattle or Portland. I forget which one. Uh,
Yep.
and so he got an Airbnb out there for a few months to live out there to practice and train for this thing. Because dude's 44 years old, right? He's getting up
Yeah.
there, so he has to like train. Um,
I
but
keep forgetting how old he is, considering how much he obliterated in those.
right, and he was really gunning for that third one because he really wanted to have like 3 first-round knockouts like on his record. Uh, but yeah, he didn't get a bonus for that. But I mean, or so it's like $20,000 to live off of for a few months, and that's all you're doing, right? He's not a big YouTuber.
Yeah.
He's a name that people know of, but like he's not pulling in numbers that he can just like take off. Um, but then there was like a lot of drama with everything and how he was getting called like weird and stuff, which is it's silly. He's like, I don't care about that, but also like if you're running the event, why are you talking trash like that? And he was only given 15,000 for this third one, and he was like he tried to be like, hey, can I get anything else? And they were like, everyone's only getting 15. And then apparently, I guess one other YouTuber got an extra 7 on top of that. And they're like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's a weird video, and not a weird, but like it's a revealing video, I should say. And yeah, he liked to like did editor notes and he ended up stopping himself. Like, yeah, he's like he had an editor note. He paused the video. He's like, yeah, I get really upset this part, and I just kind of cut that out because I don't need to put that out there. But he was like, it's just really upsetting that I put all this time into it and everything's kind of collapsing like that. But I think he does have a. I think he talked to I think Keemstar's boxing, the one that did the Wings versus Boogie. I think
Oh,
he's
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
talking to them because he's like, I put all this training in. I want to do something about it. Um, because yeah, dude goes in like he's talking about like he's like I've trained my ass off. He's like there's times where like he trains spars so hard that his whole right arm goes numb, and that's happened a few times.
Jesus.
He's to the part where like I guess if he turns his head pretty sharp, there's like bright white flashes now. Uh, he's going in on that. But he loves it. He's like he really wants to do that like that one last time because he's a beefy boy. Um, but yeah, if you're interested, I say go listen to that just to hear him.
Yeah, I need to go listen to that. I mean, I had no doubt that he would be good in boxing because dude's got fucking stamina.
Hmm.
If nothing else, that is a guy that you would never bet against going the distance. But fucking hell, the
Right.
fact that he has been the arguably most successful fucking boxer they have had.
Um, I guess one of his plans to go into the third one was he's doing a 24-hour dance marathon, and unfortunately fell through because of all this stuff. But what it is.
Jesus Christ, what a beast.
Right.
All the love in the world to Dad. Jesus Christ, Nathan Barnett is a good homie.
Yeah, he's solid. I still want him at my wedding.
Make it happen, Adrian.
I'm gonna hit him up for that. David, please tell about Microsoft's.
So Microsoft, apparently believing in Dragon Ball Z power scaling, decided that they needed to fire over 9,000 fucking employees right after our last podcast.
Yeah.
And
And
Xbox
it's
division is
it's not like sweeping. Well, I guess it is, but I mean, like, I think that the standout to me was they closed a whole fucking studio they built. Like that one threw me off the most. Like
yeah, the
Rare
initiative just
Rare
gone.
getting hit. Sorry, Everwild has not happened. Like we talk about that. That's studio's
Yeah.
mismanagement. Forza, that sucks. I guess the last one didn't hit. That's like they lost half of their studio. They're gonna focus on Horizon, which Horizon is very popular, so that makes sense. But sheesh, but the initiative that one struck me very crazy because we saw that last year. That was last year. That was a big showcase game last year, and they had Crystal Dynamics on there working out. This has been a beefy fucking game for many years. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Well, it's a combination of two factors. I was talking to a few buddies of mine about this from work, and what it kind of boils down to is like three key things. One, Microsoft spent way too much fucking money on these acquisitions. Just full stop. They bought basically at the height of the gaming bubble during the pandemic, when the free tendies were at their freest. And now that we are no longer in that bubble, and everything has kind of calmed down, the industry is unfortunately trying to repair itself from all that. And the sad reality is that, well, Microsoft has investors that they need to promise, okay, how are we going to undo the damage of literally billions of dollars we spent in acquisitions? Cut the fat, I guess. And yeah, that's a lot of air quotes fat that they fucking cut.
Right. Um, it's Game Pass, right? Game Pass, I feel like they're not hitting their targets on new subscribers. They're kind of plateauing.
Supposedly they are. So, there's mixed reports about that coming out now. So I was actually just before we started reading an article about how that's actually one of the few divisions that is doing well as the Game Pass model.
Interesting. Who reported that?
Oh, let me pull it up here.
Because I
Microsoft itself.
I mean they're not gonna say they would never say the opposite, obviously. But I mean I guess it's the best word we got.
There's always like a corporate speak for saying, hey, especially in the midst of layoffs, there's always a way to say it's not meeting expectations or something like that.
Right.
Because
Well, okay. So I mean, they got like 1 million new subscribers if I recall correctly. I saw the latest report, and that's not enough though.
Yeah.
Like it on the growth scale, that's not, and that's why we do see Microsoft doing the handheld thing and everything. They need places to grow on that, and it makes sense, right? Like at
Yes.
first
It's 6:01
PC, at
p.m.
first Xbox, then like you gotta start branching out on that. So it makes sense, but they're hitting this wall, and I've always been of the mind, and I might have to backtrack a lot of past me on here because my eyes are opening up a little bit on what I believe on this, where I've always been of the mind that it should always have been day one stuff, and that's kind of what they're doing, right? They're doing day one Game Pass, but then if you want on other platforms, you pay the money for it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm having a feeling that they might need to walk that back because they've been very much on day one, day one, day one. I am, I don't know, back of my head, I'm like maybe you have to do like a Disney Plus model where it's like you put out Gears, it's on sale, and if you want to play day one, you buy it. But if you want to wait, you wait till Game Pass has it like 6 months later. But
So kind of like Sony, where you just actually rotate it out.
and unfortunately, I don't know if they rotate it out, but I'd say you wait a little bit, right? It's like the theatrical run. Like if I want to see Thunderbolts, I can see it on Disney Plus now, or I could have seen it 4 months ago in theaters. But because I know, and again, I've stood by this, and I still partially do. It's like, but the Xbox community is very much like I'm not buying it unless it's on Game Pass, which is fair. You're putting money into it every month. You want to see it on there, but you've essentially devalued people buying stuff to begin with on your console now. So how do
While
you
still pumping up to $80 per game?
right? So how do you repair that? But then again, you want your subscriber growth, which is the day one stuff, right? So they're kind of in a weird spot where it's like, do you keep pushing day ones? Because walking back day ones would be a lot unless you make that upper tier subscription, which is going to be a mess, you know. It's
They've already done that for some games. Some
right,
games are only in the upper.
but it's like the
upper tier.
lowest level, and then like the regular one that everyone's kind of usually on is that. But I don't know. They're in a weird position where I feel like they would like the sales of their games too, but maybe I don't know because I still stand by the fact that I think putting Call of Duty out on your subscription service, getting people to do that, and making everyone else buy it, I think that's always been a smart move. But it's a matter of, are you guys really getting everything you need to out of it? Are you guys making money off of it too? Because Avowed, I recall, I don't know if that came on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it did. Did
I
that
don't
one push
remember,
money?
honestly.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And part of me is like, I wonder if it's just like you have to push that away to get people to buy the games, and then, but it's weird. And then people want to still talk down on Game Pass, which it is what it is, but I still stand by studios can like breathe a little bit still. Maybe not anymore, right? We're in a weird spot,
Yeah.
but I'm sure the studios were thankful that we can just make a game without having to worry about the overhead of cost development, right? As long as it gets done on this date, that should be fine. But maybe that's what
And
happened
you know what?
is games like Perfect Dark and Everwild and stuff just didn't make it.
No, well, I mean, here's the thing: it, in the case of Everwild, like I get it was an MMO, but like 7 years, and they were talking like it was still 4 years away from releasing. Absolutely
Everwild,
not.
but it was like even like not even they weren't even sure what the fuck it was when they first announced it. Like they was like, yeah, we don't know. We just know we want to do this game called Everwild, which is egregious. Stop doing that. Um, and Sea of Thieves is kind of that MMO right now, right? Like it almost feels like that. Yeah, they're not charging per month, but that shit has a whole ass community on it every season.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you have the case of Perfect Dark, which it sounds like from everything that's come out from behind the scenes with the people that worked on the game, that it never even actually existed technically. They had basically a playable-ish build that was just a glorified playable trailer, and it only worked as long as you kind of played it exactly the way they intended it to.
that's
uh,
insanity, right? Because like
a lot of people are basically saying it was another Halo 2 situation.
Halo 2 got done.
Yeah, fair enough. But I just mean for like the trailer itself.
Yeah, no, the smoke and mirror stuff, which I don't know, man. Like that, it kind of reminds me of Phil Spencer being like Kevin Feige in the days of too many shows, right? He just can't be. He's too
Yep.
spread thin to oversee a lot of these games. So you got to get someone else in the helm there to like double check these studios, man, and like the project management. Because what's up with this project management? Like, I don't understand why there's so many people just fucking up this project management stuff. Halo fucked up. Uh, the initiative fucked up. Rare's fucked up. Like,
Also,
but
a
then
major part of it is budgets are too fucking big now. Budgets don't
Expedition
need to be
33
so
should be the
massive.
biggest sign of where you need to go. Like, if anything, I understand the need for a AAA game. I feel like that's Call of Duty. That's fine, right? Like, do your AAA game maybe once or twice a year if you include the Call of Duty on that. But really, your output should be at these like AA mild AAA levels, like Expedition 33. If you pumped out those at a very steady pace with all of your studios, then like you're kind of good, right? Like, people shut the fuck up when Expedition 33 came out for like a whole month. And that was fine. People were okay paying with Game Pass. They're like, cool, I can play it, and I'm talking about it like that. That they're happy with it.
Yeah.
But why? But like, we keep inflating all this shit in there, and it's like, stop making such big projects.
It is genuinely unnecessary for games to consistently take more than 4 years to make. When games are taking almost entire console generations to even come out now, absolutely unnecessary.
It's too much, and I just looking back at it, right? Its initiative was like creating a ground up studio and stuff like that. Like, I get that takes a while, but Jesus. Especially showing it off last year, like that should have been cut.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then David, then it came out that there's a big reason why we cut a lot of these jobs, right? And a reason you're not happy about.
Yeah, because amongst the other reasons I mentioned, Microsoft needs to also save some budget for AI because you know what? AI's got to replace a lot of these jobs. We need better optimization.
You know,
AI is the way to do that.
and it sucks because we all see it coming, right? It's like we see this, it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. We can push back as much as we can, and hopefully we push back enough of it to like kill the overabundance of it. But it's gonna get pushed into it somehow, some way. Whether, and I mean, like, I would hope it's better. It's in a better way, like bug testing. Cool, that's fine. But like pushing out all these jobs, like that sucks, and you kind of wonder like where are we going with this? So
Where we're going is 3-4 years of horrible mismanagement of AI nonsense until companies finally redirect and go, oh shit, it's not actually ready to act the way we think it should be acting. And then another 4 or 5 years of undoing the damage of it. And then by that point, oh, well, it's advanced again. Let's try it again and just rinse, repeat.
right. I don't know. It's there's a lot behind that, and I would love for people to like start opening up at what happened, because also we're not talking about it, right? But there's more stuff that got affected besides just those studios, right, David?
Yeah.
What else?
There, I don't have the list in front of me, but there was a metric ton of honestly Microsoft's projects that fucking got impacted by that. I noticed that a lot of the server side of things got fucked. Office 365 teams got fucked. I don't have the exact list of everything though. Is there something that was specifically coming to your mind?
Romero.
Yeah. So this is one that Kels said he heard. Shout outs, rest in peace, Kels. Dead as hell. We miss him very much. But yeah, I saw an article talking about how Romero's studio was hit as well, but Kells saw that there was like counterpoints coming from within Romero that it wasn't entirely the case.
They couldn't say, but they said because of a recent budget cut that killed our momentum, we can't go like that. So from what I recall, and if I'm getting this wrong, even the article said this, is everyone is off the job right now and saying go do something else, and then they're pitching around like saying if we can find someone else for this, you're just back on board right away. Like it's not done, but like for now, it's like, yeah, we're not able to pay anyone because that's the money. So they're pitching around to other people, and they have heard snags of other publishers. But yeah, and they said we can't talk about specifics, but like you can make assumptions as to what money that came from and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's just a funky situation about how much it just kind of hits, right? And I don't mean to like be a Phil Spencer just defender. He makes a lot more money than me. He could defend himself. But I see a lot of people pointing at them, and Phil Spencer's not the one that like puts a shoe down on closing a fucking studio. He's not the one that like puts a shoe down on laying off 9,000 people. It's definitely a Microsoft super high end. Uh, um, it's like the top of the top that are making that call. I'm
Yeah.
sure Phil Spencer, if he would have done that. But the same token too, the thing to critique Phil Spencer on is how do you let studios like the Initiative just get off with that? Like, how do you not catch that? Right? Like, there needs to be someone that just makes the rounds of these studios and just checking on them and running with them. Because the thing is, when they don't have that funding, right? Let's rewind back, right? It's good that these studios have the freedom to be like, okay, we don't have to worry about working paycheck to paycheck, right? That does remove the hungry factor of it. That removes the urgent factor of it, right? That if you don't have a deadline as to we need money because we only have this much money for our studio until it's done, so we have to be done by this, take that away, and suddenly it's like, oh, we can just do whatever the fuck we want for however long we want. You know, it's like we need deadlines on these guys. You need to put pressure on these guys to still perform at that level. Yeah, the freedom's fantastic. I love that for them, but I mean, really, the one studio that's like been on top of it the most, I think, is Obsidian, because I know Obsidian is.
Yeah.
I feel like they're the ones most grateful for that because they were doing paycheck to paycheck, and they popped out Grounded, Grounded 2, the Outer Worlds 2 is coming, Avowed, right? They pumped out like 5 games under them so far, and then what is it, Pentiment? That's like 6 games under these guys already that they pumped out. Like, these guys are like, cool, we got the money, cool, it's the hustle. Like, they're still playing as if they're still working paycheck to paycheck. Some of the studios just kind of got lax on it, especially the big ones too. And you got to wonder what inside, but I don't know. I say one inside Microsoft is causing bad stuff in these studios, but then Bungie just fucking up the whole storm there, and Sony didn't catch shit on that too. You know, so I feel like you'd be a lot angrier about the AI stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just at the point where it's happening so much I'm just fucking exhausted from it.
Yeah.
Like every fucking industry is falling into this fucking sinkhole, and me and everyone else in IT is just fucking screaming at our fucking lungs of how fucking dumb it is. But basically the story is the same everywhere. Boards of directors are like, oh, just use AI, and because they're the board, there's not much that can be done. So that's just the marching orders given down the conga line. The board says find new ways to automate things with AI. So then the managers are like, find new ways to automate things with AI. And
how about the replace them?
People that act, no, you can't. You need middle managers because they give the orders.
Let's replace the top end because obviously they can't handle it. So maybe AI will figure it out better than they could. Maybe ChatGPT could replace some of these CEOs and be like, hey, give me a proper deadline date. Can we do all that stuff? All right, cool. Insanity.
They get paid big money for a reason. They make real decisions. It's fine. They can't be replaced with AI.
Yeah.
They too important. Clearly, what they do requires a human mind.
It's exhausting. It sucks. I don't know, man. I think you're right. It kind of cooled off after the week. We can kind of breathe about it, but man, if we had the podcast like that day, it would have been a hellstorm for sure.
Oh man, it fucking. That's one of the few times where, because we've had some weird luck instances before where it's like we had to delay the podcast for a couple days. It's like, oh shit, well, this event literally just happened yesterday, so let's fucking talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, especially when it comes to the AI, like I'm unfortunately just tired. I'm exhausted. That's all I fucking see, especially in my line of work, is just AI stories like that. I'm just like, I'm fucking done.
Right. What's next?
What's next is, you know what? Let's dive into this here, because the only other story I had, I already forgot. So Neil Druckmann, a few days
Nah.
back, said, "You know
Okay.
what? I'll be back. Life was great, but I need to get back to what I'm really about, and that's working on Vigia." And shortly after the man's return, he finally fixed Last of Us 2.
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm making fun of it. I shouldn't say fixed, but it definitely went in a
He
better
fixed
way.
it. It's better now.
Definitely in a better way. It should have been, but I mean, whatever.
It only took him 5 years, and not only gamers hating part two, but the average Joe, your mom and her friends, of hating The Last of Us season two, in order to go ahead and get it through him that maybe the way they handled the story progression in the second entry wasn't the best way to go about it.
Do you want to explain what they fixed?
Yeah, so The Last of Us Part 2, which is chronological mode. Now you can play through the events of The Last of Us Part 2 in the chronological order that they happened, complete
So
with its own trophy set.
I say, and I bring this up every time. I hate when discourse about this devolves into like that, like one side saying if you don't like this, you just don't understand nuance, or even worse, they call you a transphobe if you don't like this, which I don't understand what that is, but it is what it is. Or homophobe, I guess. Um, like I don't know. I think
Again, do people forget that Ellie was gay in the first game as well? Like,
someone was calling like game one simple versus how much more complex game two is, and I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily the word. I think, yeah, on paper it's a much more simpler tale, but I think the fact that like you get to the end of one and like the ambiguity of like what you've done the entire time the game ends on that, I think is heavy. Game two just felt like something I just didn't want to do the entire time. Um, but yeah, so it's like I think Ticker Zero is one of the best written games out there, but like I don't tell anyone that doesn't like it, like, or you just don't get this kind of things. It's like no, like it's not for everyone. But uh
and that I think that's the other key thing that I feel like a lot of people, whenever they feel the need to defend things they enjoy, I feel like that's something that everyone tends to forget. Not fucking everything is for everyone, nor should everything be for everyone.
I'm gonna get political for a second too. I feel like everyone just needs to win on stuff, and they just can't accept being wrong on anything. I know they're
Mm.
bots. Like the majority of the MAGA people on Twitter are bots, but like you gotta assume at least a couple of them are real. And when they're like, "Well, the Epstein files are gone," and you know what, but I have faith in Trump that he's doing this for I'm like, you could critique people. I'm not even gonna get into the whole dichotomy of that, or I'm not gonna get into the minutia of that, but like, you can critique someone, and like think the same time on the other side too. It's like you can critique how this party's doing things because they should not have lost to that. You critique as to why
No.
they're wrong, like you critique things without being seen in a certain way, right? Um, so yeah, to bring it back, I mean, like I'll critique that story all day, and I don't like it, but to act like it's because I just don't understand nuance, like I watch a lot of really weird fucking indie films, and I love those kind of things, but I don't know. Part of me really feels like I'm not gonna waste my time, but like there's definitely like a 2% part of me that's like, should I just replay this game and just see if it really is something? Because no, but I'm like I'm not gonna waste 20 hours of my life. That's time I can't get back. I'm pretty set in my ways too. I know I'm not gonna really change enough, but
But see, here's the thing, and this is someone coming from someone that originally kind of defended the game. Uh, I'll admit, when I was a big person that was defending this game, it's because I just simply read the leaks that happened online, and I'll admit, I thought the
you
leaks
were excited
were
for it.
just like this is. I was excited for it because I thought that the leaks were the order of just simply when they happened to record the voice lines. I was like, oh, well, this is just when they recorded it. So, I'll see, I'll play the game and then see it in the actual order. Everything is done. I didn't realize that was the actual order that
So
things were done. And I was
I
like, oh, wait a second.
I somehow dodged the minefield of spoilers, and I just all I was told going into it by like I just saw glancing through was like Joel and Ellie died in this game. I didn't know when or anything else had happened. I just knew that at some point, which I mean, again, that was half right, right? But um, yeah, I still stand by it. I think that was a bad move, and I think the fact the show is not doing well, we could. But the issue now is that though is that people don't take that as the reason for the show. They think it's
The writers, they changed too much. It's
yeah,
too woke.
they think it's cringy now and stuff like that. Which yeah, like the line I shared was with Craig Mazin. Yeah, the line was way cringe, but it's not. That's not the reason. Even though they want to think it's the reason, they that's not the reason. Um, but because I again like I was out to lunch somewhere at a fancy place. And I like was eavesdropping because I heard the people in the group next to the table next to me talking about just how much they just didn't like that Joel died. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
well,
That is literally the number
he,
one complaint everyone has. Again, my fucking mother-in-law, no concept of gaming at all. I recommended the HBO series to her just because she was a big fan of The Walking Dead, but she tuned out basically around the time of Negan, because she hated that Glenn died. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be funny to see what happens if you get attached to Joel. She watched through the first season, loved it,
mhm.
absolutely had a great time. The second she started season 2, she's like, did you know about Joel dying? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you didn't warn me? I'm like, no. She's like, I don't want to fucking watch it anymore. I know, right? And that is the average person's reaction. You go ahead and you spend the entire first season, or the original case, the entire first game, getting attached to Joel and his story with Ellie and their dynamic, and then you're cock teased a little bit and thinking, especially for the gamer side, because we got trailers and promotional material and so much of like, all right, we're continuing Joel and Ellie's story here. And then the first hour of the game, or in the second episode of the TV series, it's like, all right, let's say goodbye. So what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean my boy gets Andrew Ryan right at the start of the story?
Yeah, no, because I was genuinely curious. Like, part of me is like, I did believe they were gonna like, all right, they're gonna just stick with it. Uh, but like, part of me knows that I can promise you that the studio execs were like, do you have to do that? Can you get around that? I can promise you that's how it went.
And then
Um,
Pedro Pascal said, no, I gotta go make that Marvel money.
I mean, I feel like he could have probably done both, honestly, maybe, but because I mean, I don't know, but I guess I don't know, right? The ultimately, it's like I think you messed up by getting rid of like your star person at there. Like, why would you do that? Like, again, and I get it for the game, I guess, like whatever. You're not as attached to like the person as it is in the show, and I guess the show is super new, so it kind of felt fresh, but you just don't do that. And like that's like an indie film type thing that you want to do, and if you want to try to do that, then that's gonna be a whole experimental like what do you call it, like avant-garde type of anything to like do something
Yeah.
crazy like that, right? But like in this like mainstream thing, and I get it. I feel like maybe I'm not trying to say like don't be creative and don't do crazy things, but be smart with it, you know? Like I say above all else, like I love that the Game of Thrones knows that like in real life these characters just don't all get happy endings. You don't get like put up in a bow and walk away with it. You can just have them end because that's how real life is, you know? So I love that kind of
And
thing.
neither of us have said don't kill Joel.
Oh,
We have
I
both
think Joel
advocated
should
absolutely
die.
kill him.
Joel's dead.
Yes.
And I think if anything, if you replace him in the middle, you put him in the middle. I even that too. Like I've always stood by this. And you know what? Like let's use the chronological, and I've said this a billion times. I know I've said this a billion times, but like if you just like build up the fact that like there's a strain between these two, they don't want to talk. You know what would have been amazing? Is like, you know, in the game by the time Last of Us 1 ends, you're like a father and daughter, right? You're having these
Yeah.
conversations. What if you go into the sequel and guess what? They're just not talking. And you can see Joel just like trying and Ellie's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to deal with it. You know, like have those quiet moments. Have a lot of walking with nothing going on. And then finally, little by little, build that back up and then yank them away. And then you feel fucking pissed about it. Now you're in Seattle. Now you're pissed. Now you're like, well, I'm already here. I'm going to fucking kill them now. You know, I'm not going to go for revenge thousands of miles away, hundreds of miles away for this. But if I'm already there and that's all I have, right? Because if you're like, if that's Ellie and that's all you have left and they kill everyone else and you're just Ellie alone, fuck it. Go in, you know? Like that to me, and I can't backseat write this, but like I just feel like that's just the way you should have done it instead of trying to go for like, let me shock everyone by taking away someone. Like you just it just feels like you're writing just to be shocky, and I don't like that.
Exactly. It reeks of what we talked about not that long ago with Kojima, of like, too many people like this. I gotta not do that because too many people enjoyed it. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it feels like. Is Neil Druckmann was like, all right, keeping Joel around is what people would want. So
Mhm.
we're gonna do the complete opposite.
Which,
and just
again,
immediately get rid of
It's
him.
not bad. Like if you want to like buck the trend and not play it safe, sure, but that's like actively. It just feels like you're actively trying to disrupt stuff for the sake of it.
You're being different for the sake of being different, not because you have a purpose or actual intent behind it. It wasn't your grand plan. It's you wanted to just be like, aha, they'll never suspect this.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, bruh, why? There's just so much potential you just kind of ruined up from there. If that's your story that you want to, that's fine, but like you just ruin a lot of potential, I think, too. So. I feel like you should play it at some point just to at least like see that, but I also just don't want you to waste your time. The gameplay itself is fun,
I've seen the scene.
right? The gameplay itself is fun.
I mean, it's one of those things that I have it at some point. I'll go to it. I really want my partner to go through it, but she hates Ashley Johnson, so
I forgot about it.
yeah, she has an irrational hatred of Ashley Johnson. But because I feel like she would actually really enjoy the first game at least, and then I want to drag someone else kicking and screaming through the second game with me. So it'll happen eventually. Just gonna be a hot second.
Yeah,
Plus, it's also kind of it's hard to justify going to the second game when one, I already know everything that's gonna happen, and two, I wasn't the keenest on the gameplay of the first game. It was
like I'm saying,
fine,
the best thing about 2 is the gameplay. The gameplay is slick, it's fun, it's good. It's like it just really works. Which is the biggest unfortunate thing, right? Because it's like that I would have been singing a whole different tone if they just ponied up and just kept factions in there too. I'd been like, you know what? I don't like the story, but the gameplay, the multiplayer, I probably would have been hop on it. Like, you know, I would have kept that, and maybe who knows? Maybe I open my mind a little bit more and see that. But no, I'm
yeah, rip to the real sacrifice factions mode.
I'm bummed that you never got to play. We still can. Factions is still fun. I'd still would be open to playing that on there. Anyway,
maybe we try to get a game night where we get a bunch of people, or at least as much as we can try to cobble together for that.
Right, that'd be a fun game night. Dave, is anything else on the agenda?
I had like one other story, but I already forgot what it was. And scrolling through did not remind me. So I think that was really the only important shit. So light news week.
Technically, it's not a light news week. It's a heavy one, but it just happened the wrong day.
Well, light in terms of volume. I'll phrase it that way.
Right.
There wasn't a ton of news. There was heavy news, but there wasn't a lot of it. Oh, also shout outs if you haven't already. Crow County is now officially on pre-order at Fangamer. Go check that out. Support that project. Absolutely fantastic game, and excited to see that get a physical release. And Fangamer always puts out quality, so go support that.
Let's see. Stop Killing Games reached 1 million signatures. Shouts to them.
Yes. Oh, that's one thing we could talk about. There's a lot of controversy with that because they're suspecting that unfortunately a lot of their signatures may be botted based on just the sheer volume they got towards the end. So if you are in the EU, please go ahead and officially sign that, just so that way it has a better chance of being made seen as officially succeeded. Also, shout outs to Pirate Software, the dumb fucking cuck that they are. One of the most disingenuous fucking people. I knew nothing about this guy. Adrian, do you know much about Pirate Software?
No, I think we talked about it last week. I didn't know they were the person that made Heartbound, which was on top of my Steam list for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah, so I didn't know much about either, except for the fact that I think I even mentioned this last week as well. A buddy at work is a big Blizzard fan, and so they knew of him because of that. But this dumb, disingenuous bastard has been rallying against this, and a lot of people in digging, and it's partially because of the fact that because the next game he's working on is a big ass live service game. So of course this fucker doesn't want this fucking thing to pass and doesn't want to have anyone genuinely supporting it because he would be responsible for maintaining exactly what this is trying to pass because of that.
Right.
So fuck him.
Oh, hey, Helldivers going on Xbox, which is kind of cool.
Hell yeah! Shout outs to Xbox players that can also support democracy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm a lot more
also
likely to
shout
play it
outs
on
to
there
that
now.
Yeah, I will not be, but that's fine.
I mean, you could play with
I had
us.
fun
Just,
on it,
we're
but-
still crossplay.
Yes, so you know,
Maybe
I like the game. It's not my favorite, but I had fun
it's
with
a
it.
fun talk to your homies and do something kind of game,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no, I saw Arcane Studios talk about Game Pass being unsustainable. Yeah, no, it's the light news on that, and then, damn, we sped run. That feels good actually. We won't really do that often.
That's what happens when you also have a third perspective missing.
Yeah, but also, I think the news is exhausting. When it's all just kind of like bummer news, it's just kind of like, yeah.
Fair.
Damn. All right. Well, that was, damn. I kind of like that though. We can just get in, get out, we're done. David,
Welcome to a nice brisk edition of Blue Rupees.
send the people out.
If you want to see more content like this, tell us to kick fucking Kells off permanently, and it'll happen.
Or David.
Also, if you miss him, shout out to our boy Gore. Hope he's doing good for himself.
And if Kel's listening, shouts to you. And I promise you, David doesn't hate you.
It's true. I hope you do shitty for yourself, though. Get fucked at Superman. So,
Yeah, I hope you enjoy
Bastard, you didn't
Superman. I
see
hope
it.
it sucks.
yeah, what a piece of shit. Fucking, I could spend the night with my friends, or I could go watch Superman a few days early. It's a hard fucking decision.
Nah, I respect it. I get it. Because fuck this podcast. All right. Anyone that was in the stream, adios.